This is Don't Panic, episode number 399, recorded March 10th, 2025. Hello, everybody. Welcome to this episode of Don't Panic, the technology podcast on gadgets, the internet, you, the whole shebang. I'm Sean Jennings, joined by a couple of guys who are reeling through the winds of space and time after this daylight savings change. It's Colby Rabidou and Dan Miller. Good evening, gentlemen. Do you know what time it is?
Fucking no. I hate this week. This entire week is bad because of the punishment being visited upon us. I don't appreciate it.
It's pretty. I can fly across the country and be several hours off and be fine, but for some reason, the 1 hour of daylight savings will ruin my entire week.
I can't do that anymore.
No, you just
No. I get destroyed now. Another COVID casualty / 30s casualty.
Yeah, maybe it was COVID. I think daylight savings messed me up during COVID too.
You've got long daylight savings. Hello?
Oh, hi.
What?
It also messed me up. That's all I was going to say.
Oh, no, I just thought my joke wasn't very funny.
That could be, too.
Yeah. Anywho, what's going on, guys? What's good? What's the scoop?
I'm tired. That's the scoop.
Okay. All right. Talk about it, Colby. Use your words to express your feelings.
I just hate this. I hate this experience because, like, I don't know. It's just like not off enough to reset my body. Like, it's too close to what is normal. So I just end up going to bed a little late and waking up a little late and feeling confused and annoyed that I'm not up at the correct time. You know?
Yes. Yeah, on Sunday, I was supposed to... Well, we talked about it. We knew that it was daylight savings time. Lena was like, does the iPhone alarm still work if it's daylight savings time? And I said yes, but I should have said I hope so. And
probably.
She was giving a talk, like, one town over, but you have to drive there, and I was going to drive, and we had to leave by 8:15, and I woke up at 7. I was awoken by her at 7:55 a.m. I had set my alarm for 7:30. I have no idea what happened. And so, yeah, no shower, just like scraggly, needed to shave, made the fastest coffee I possibly could, and drove over. Ever since then, I have felt I've only gotten more behind throughout the day. I made it to all my meetings this morning, but then this afternoon, I like totally spaced on a meeting for 8 minutes, and someone had to ping me to remind me to go because I didn't realize it was 3 p.m. So, yeah, permanently behind. Somehow I remembered this. I guess that's good.
You've only been doing it for 11 years, so...
Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah. I've been doing a lot more Tapestry stuff.
Oh, and a follow-up to last week. Tell us about this.
Yes. So I think that what I should have said last week, I was listening to a podcast today where they talked to the guy who made it, and I think they made a good point, which is you shouldn't download this and connect it to your like Mastodon account or your Blue Sky account and have it import everything. It should...
And hated it.
Yeah.
And immediately deleted.
So what I have done now after last week is I deleted almost everything from it, and I've gone back through and I've gone through my like Blue Sky follows, and I've added only the things I care about. So like I was saying last week, like the Washington Department of Transportation Twitter account, which I don't know if I ever shared this. They post hilarious MS Paint graphics describing how fucked up the traffic is going to be every week. It's so funny. It's intentionally bad. But then this week they did like high res, low res. So the high res was like the Google Maps with like lines, precise lines drawn around the blocks, and then one below that was like just a crayon drawing on a map, and then the one below that was MS Paint. It barely even resembles the Seattle landmass, but you can kind of get the point. Yeah, that bridge up there, totally fuck, don't go that way. This bridge down here, totally fuck, don't go that way. Only use this one. But anyway, stuff like that, like stuff that I want to see, like an RSS feed, where if this person posts something, I want to see it. People I know personally who are not chronically online and have Blue Sky accounts, it's great because as it stands, like even if I log into Blue Sky once a day back, in 2024 when I was on the internet, there were tons of things I missed because it was just too much shit. I would just be like, whatever, give me the most important thing right now. So that is one thing I realized. The other thing I realized is that I kind of alluded to this, but I hadn't fully thought it out. I think that, and this is partially inspired, again, we were too early on this stuff. Shortly after we recorded, the amazing YouTube channel Technology Connections, which I subscribe to in Tapestry, so I see it there if they have a new video, did this like the algorithms are controlling your brain thing. It's a really good takedown of the whole thing. And yeah, totally. Like I think what happened was I was on RSS and I was on Twitter and Blue Sky for the outrage, like everyone else. Like I wanted that dopamine hit. And I confused that with other things. Like, oh, I also, it's also important to me that I read every single article that The Verge writes. Sorry, The Verge. And since removing the outrage, I've realized that I actually don't care about that stuff at all. Like I opened up my Tapestry and it's all Verge articles, and I'm like, I don't care about any of this. And it's lost its dopamine hit, and now I don't even read the Verge articles anymore. That was something I realized. But my Polygon filter that I came up with last week starts with how to has been working beautifully.
Now, you shared to us in the Slack, I believe, this filter.
Oh yes, this is my other thing that
Please explain this to me, because I'm baffled.
That's what he wants to filter out, Sean. Please, you saying, please explain this to me.
Starts with this.
Starts with this. Yeah. I just want to know the thought behind that.
Something on Blue Sky and it's like this, and then beneath that is some rage-inducing something. It's some comment. It's someone dunking on the Undersecretary of Interior's press statement or something, and they're like, oh well, blah 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 blah, and of course they're totally right, and it's like this. Like all of that shit is not something I want to read. And that was something I realized. Like this is a pattern. If you're saying this and that's your entire thing, I do not want to see whatever like dunky thing you're quote tweeting or whatever we call it now in the body of your post. So that's what that is.
I see. I don't use Blue Sky, so I think I wasn't aware of this as a category. I was confused by it.
Yeah, I thought all right, so what every sentence that starts with this will be a challenge.
Yeah, so the way to read that, Sean, is you see the two weird slashes.
Yeah.
In programming speak, this means herein lies a pattern. So knock those things off the side. And so this pattern is parrot means starts with this, and then an actual period. Because I don't want it to like if someone just says, although maybe what I should do is this period or starts with this and then it ends and there's nothing else, then I should probably also block that.
I just thought it was like this and then a guy going like this. It was like this, but that was a period with a couple slashes. I'm a marketing guy.
Dan, what as I mentioned before, we were talking on the podcast and you said, oh, like add your Mastodon or whatever. So I connected my Mastodon and was immediately overwhelmed because there was too much crap. but I didn't see a way to like selectively do that.
Yes. So
Was that a secret or
no,
did
I just think it's like a little bit hidden in the onboarding. So it also Tapestry also works on a Mac, which is great. So I'm going to open up my Tapestry. If you if you click add feed, um, it'll show you Mastodon, and the first like it cycles through all these different connectors they call them. I also learned you can write your own connectors, which I'll get to in a second. Um, but the top one is often like bsky.social. And the bottom one will be like bsky.social/profile/colbr. And you can paste a profile URL into that box, and then it will add a connector just for that one person. And you can apply filters to just the other nice thing about that is you can apply filters to just that account. And so if some news thing doesn't have an RSS feed, but they are on Mastodon, you can add it and you can filter out like today's update on today's Wordle solution and stuff like that.
Got it.
So the goal is that you craft it into a thing that you want to look at. It's not bullshit. It's like actual information.
Now here's another, like, do you put RSS feeds into this?
I've started to for things that I want to read every post from. So not The Verge. Like I'll keep my NetNewsWire around for like, oh, I'm bored. Let me see what websites have posted stuff. Which ones have I added as an example? I have Friends RSS feeds. I have Daring Fireball. I have the Seattle Eater, another local Seattle magazine, another local Seattle newspaper, and then USGS Earthquakes, which I think comes by default, but could be relevant to me now.
I see. I did two things when I downloaded this. I added my entire Mastodon, which as we reviewed was a mistake. And then I added a bunch of my normal RSS feeds, which volume wise was not a mistake, but a thing, I don't know if you do this with your RSS feeds, Dan, but there's stuff that like I'm not gonna read it right now, but I would like to read it. Like right, like
yeah,
eventually.
This isn't good for that.
Right. I like inbox zero my RSS feeds, and like either I look at it immediately and it goes away, or I keep it around for like 3 days until I'm like sitting on the couch for a prolonged period of time and like ingesting words from my phone. But yeah, so is it just not for that? Is there some something I can do?
I mean, you could probably share sheet out a thing into a read later list or something. That's probably what I would do. Treat it like if you were reading Twitter. If you were reading Twitter back in the day and you found something you wanted to read later, often when I'm reading Twitter, I'm like standing on a subway or something. I'm not in a position to read something for 15 minutes. So I would do something to save it. And I don't even know if it has like a built-in. I don't even think it has like a way to save posts. It's very much just about reading. That was the other thing I didn't explicitly state. It's read only. You can't post anything from this. And by default, it doesn't show you any replies, which is also nice. Although I said someone like replies, that's my favorite part about like subreddits. And I was like, is it though? Like, is it? How often do I get valuable information from comments on a Reddit post versus how often I'm like, ooh, like, what are people saying about the Cybertruck fire in Seattle? It's like, well, what do I care about what they're fucking saying about it? Like, what is that actually adding to my life?
What does the mark feature do?
I don't know. How did you see that?
So I'm looking at a post, right? There's an entry in my timeline, and I'm looking at the
it does say mark.
And at the bottom right, it has there's a mark, and it puts a little flag on it.
Okay, yeah.
Built-in time. Oh, I see. Built-in timelines marked items.
Interesting. There you go.
Well, maybe this is my This is my backlog or something.
And you can, I haven't done this at all. You can make new timelines Blue Sky style. But the cool thing I learned about today, which I also haven't done, is, and it's pretty cool how this works. You can add your own connectors. Connectors, I think what it does is you point it at a URL and it runs JavaScript on your phone. And every time you pull, that JavaScript function runs, and you have to return some well-known format into the Tapestry. So you can use this to add things to Tapestry which don't have RSS feeds. So they're talking about how, like, if you really care about tide levels, the NOAA whatever has like a CSV file that gets updated every 12 hours or whatever with like the tide times, and you could use JavaScript to ingest that if you want to. And people have published their own connectors, and you can somehow add them something GitHub something. I don't know how they got this around to app review. I guess because it uses the WebKit JavaScript thingy.
Yeah, I think I feel like I've heard in the past that app review has like specific carve outs for like running JavaScript, like specifically JavaScript through the. Well, that's how like React Native works, right? Where it's like it's
right.
running JavaScript, but like, yeah.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, that's cool. So you said you haven't made any connectors.
I haven't. I've been so trained by the way the internet has worked over the last 15 years that I don't, I don't even think to look at something and be like, "Oh, I wish that I could ingest this data myself." Like, it's not even something that really occurs to me. Maybe there is this like calendar of Super Smash Brothers tournaments. Maybe that would be cool. I could, but it's in like, it's not even a calendar. It's like a Google sheet. So maybe you could build some nasty JavaScript to parse the Google sheet and find new events. I'll have to look into it though.
Well,
you know what?
No, please.
I just had I have two ideas for additional topics that we. Have we ever talked about, speaking of Google Sheets, the increasingly interesting, overly engineered budgeting app that I've been building? I don't think we have.
What?
It's not. Yeah, it's not strictly speaking Don't Panic related, but we could talk about that at some point. I would also like to talk about another thing that I was thinking about today. Did you see the news about Google removing uBlock Origin from the extension store, or whatever it's called, the Chrome extension store, because something. Oh, it's like doesn't respect your privacy, and we're like not allowing extensions to do certain things anymore. And it just so happens that one of the things that makes difficult is ad blocking extensions. But I was curious where everyone is at with that, because as I've started to consider the pixels that are displayed on my phone as a thing that I can actively filter, I have considered, and like my friend's I can't even extension, which just deletes entire divs. I have thought, like, I haven't really reconsidered my ad blocking in forever. Like, what are you using for ad blocking? Do you use ad blockers? Where are you at with that?
It's a fair question. I use AdBlock Plus, which is another alternate ad blocking plugin. But to be honest, I have used more over the last year or two Firefox, which still allows uBlock Origin, and have had positive experiences with Firefox. I actually find it to be a pretty solid browser.
For sure.
I use Arc, which I think has built-in tracker blocking stuff to some extent, right? Is that true?
I thought it did.
Or at least it did it. So once in a while I click a link and it's like, oh my God. you're going through an ad site.
Can we get that sound effect whenever you get blocked?
Oh my god! Whoa! We gotta add it to our little sound effects here.
Oh boy.
Interesting. Well, ARC has a help article about what's going to happen to their ad blocking when Google makes this change. And they're promising that it will continue to work until June 2025.
No.
So, no,
3
that's not really an
months.
answer.
Clock's ticking.
No, it's not. Yeah, and then I don't know. I have some ad blocker on my phone called Wiper. I used to use something else, and then I saw someone tweet about this, and it seemed fine, so I tried it.
I will say I recently upgraded. I talked about this on the show months ago. Upgrading my mesh network to Eero, the Amazon-owned router, and they have a built-in like router-based ad block that I turned on, and it completely like screwed up the entire internet for my whole. Like nothing would work. It was like you had put it in a scrambler, so I immediately had to turn it off. Maybe Amazon likes it that way. I don't know. Not to be the conspiracy guy.
It's just a like Trojan horse thing they made to like decrease public confidence in ad blockers.
Yeah, why would you have... Amazon says, why use an ad blocker? Ads are your friend.
Right, ads are good for you.
Amazon loves
Part of
ads.
this balanced breakfast.
So, notably, this is, you just reminded me of something else, Sean. Ad blockers and Tapestry, none of this stuff works with any meta things. But something I realized over the weekend, I needed to use Instagram to like check, some restaurant was like, to check for our hours, go to Instagram. I was like, fine. And then, of course, when I was on Instagram, which I've uninstalled from my phone, so I had it only in the browser, which has gotten way better from where I remember Instagram being in the browser. They got me, so I started looking at some stories and stuff. And some of them were, they weren't loading. I was like, what? And I was like, oh, maybe the web app's broken. And then later that night, I was like, oh, I bet that those use the words in my block list. And then the story flipped over and it was just black. There was nothing there. Like, that's awesome. So using I Can't Even, you can get blocking in Facebook and in Instagram.
That's pretty good.
That is wild.
I like using Instagram on the website because you can only scroll so long before the website crashes. And it's like a little built-in rate limiter. So I can still, like look at the, get my updates. But I don't get sucked into whatever, algorithm videos because I can't. It's just not possible.
That's awesome.
I feel very lucky in my feed. I know I've been on too long when I start getting all videos from India, like in Indian languages, and that's when I know they've run out of stuff to show me I'm interested. Like I've seen the whole internet. There's nothing left. Now they're just guessing randomly. And I said, okay, I've done enough.
They went through all of the abandoned mall reels. They had nothing left for you.
Listen, I still think it would be a very fun Don't Panic challenge to like have each other's Instagram for a week or whatever social platform and see what the algorithm recommends. I want to know what Colby's Instagram looks like. Mine would be, you'd be like, how did this happen? This has to be an accident.
What about, I think my weirdest social feed is my LinkedIn feed.
Ooh, that would be like awesome.
My LinkedIn is all like I get like weird videos of like robots like putting stuff together and like people, it's like stuff you would expect to get on Instagram, but it's on LinkedIn. It's very confusing.
My Facebook feed really thinks I like Power Rangers for some reason, and I don't. I've never seen the show. I don't know anything about them. But after like 2 or 3 friend posts, then it starts shoving a bunch of Power Rangers content at me. And I have to figure out how to make it. I'm sure there's some lists in the settings that I can say no, I'm not interested in the Power Rangers.
So, as we're talking about this, I'm thinking that maybe this is because I use an ad blocker and it like messes with the tracking or something. But on my Instagram website feed, like it does not like figure out what I've seen already. Like I see the same stuff like constantly.
That's a good one.
Like almost immediately, right? Like I'll see new posts from my friends, but then like I'll get like the same post from like, like whatever, like popular accounts that I follow. It's very strange. And for a long time, like I'll get I'll get the same posts like for weeks, it feels like. It's very weird.
Well, Dan, I realized this the other week. You talked about Tapestry, and I sort of created my own Tapestry by accident. Because, and I've talked about this, we've done the show for a long time, it's no secret. I was, and unfortunately still am, a Twitter user. I used to be a big-time Twitter user. That was like...
What's Twitter?
Apologies, X, the everything app. And it just rolls off the tongue. And I had curated the perfect feed in X, and it was awesome, but there was a ton of content, like I couldn't read all of it. And I was on there the other day, and I'm looking at it, I'm like, holy shit, nobody posts on here anymore. Like, it's filtering itself because everyone left. And so now I'm very easily able to read what happens in a day, because a lot of people just don't post there anymore. Now, I do follow many of them on Blue Sky now and other stuff, but it was just funny to me. I'm like, I don't remember it ever being this slow. So, self-filtering.
So that's actually another good point. Did you ever find back in the day when Twitter was Twitter that you had these fun little accounts you would follow, like Picard Googling or like the Calvin and Hobbes, daily Calvin and Hobbes comic? But then it would get drowned out by the algorithm being like, can you believe what so-and-so said? It's like, I just want to see the owl account that Sean had me follow.
And this was my
Tapestry's
problem.
great for that.
Well, but that was, see, Dan, my solution to that was to not use the algorithmic version of the Twitter feed and just read it all. And it was
but then you
very
gotta
unhealthy.
keep switching. Don't you gotta go up or right chronological time?
No, because back then I had what was it, Tweetbot back then? Those were the good old days. I miss those days.
Right. But here's the thing. You might not have realized this, but if you were following any of those accounts, they may have stopped posting because they were API powered and they can't post anymore.
That made me.
So they're probably on Blue Sky now.
And I follow a bunch of them on Blue Sky. Art but make it sports is a great one. Or sports but make it art, where they take like photographs of sports and then put it next to paintings that look like the picture. It's very interesting. Yeah, no, there's still some classics out there. Still some classics. Now, guys, there was one topic I did want us to hit on tonight, if that's all right with you. We're bouncing around tonight. I wanted to talk about lunch.
Yeah.
I'm bad at lunch. I am not good at it. By the way,
I had lunch today.
I'm also not good at breakfast or dinner, but I'm especially not good at lunch. And lunch is the most important meal of the day.
I think you're pretty good at dinner, Sean. You've given me some good dinner recommendations.
Honestly, you know what it is? She's not listening. My mother is killing me because she doesn't eat anything, and so I can't cook anything. So I cook a lot of like spaghetti and pasta sauce from the jar. So I'm limited. But anyway, lunch I eat, and I can make what I want. But the problem is I don't make lunch. I either range from being so busy I don't eat, all the way to going out to eat with colleagues, which isn't good. And I need some help. But my top curiosity is, you are both work from home gentlemen. That is a different situation. You have a kitchen right there. What does lunch look like for a couple of work from home tech wizards?
Well, a distinctive feature in my life is that there's a person who lives in this apartment who constantly makes bread.
Yeah, you live in a bakery. If people don't know that, Colby lives in a bakery.
Yes. And so I for lunch I usually make bread things. Like I usually make a sandwich with something on it, like turkey. at like a lot of deli turkey, which is not that exciting.
That's okay.
But that's like usually what I do is like one slice of bread, cut it in half, slap some turkey on there, mayo, mustard, some pickles. That pickle, Sean, that those Grillo pickles that came in the stupid containers that leak all the
Yes.
time.
Yes.
I think we talked about this
We
once.
did.
Maybe that's the thing that you spilled all over the
I spilled
grocery
at
store.
Nathan's, but
can't-
I've had the Grillos.
I like the Grillos, and they have a slightly less precarious container now. So Laura has agreed to purchase them at this time.
Did I scare you off?
No, we had been separately scared off just because no matter what you did, the container, the weird like not pickle container of pickles would leak.
Yeah.
All over the place. But the new container is more secure. I put pickles on my sandwich usually. And then that's it. It's not very exciting. My lunches aren't exciting anymore.
Did they used to be exciting at one point?
No. I mean, I used to go to work and I'd just eat out. And it would be
That is
expensive.
more exciting.
Yeah. I guess I've always liked to make sandwiches at lunchtime. One thing I realized is that like mayonnaise has a huge amount of calories. Like I don't love mayonnaise as much as friend of the show Colin loves mayonnaise, but it's great, and there's a reason it's great because it's very calorically dense. So that's the thing I think about when I'm making my sandwiches. Like, don't put too much mayo because it's like 400 calories. Just like, but it makes things taste so good.
Yeah, most things with calories do.
Yeah. Yeah. You think there's anything that's high calorie but like bad, like tastes bad?
Mold? I don't know. That's a good question.
I don't know either. Maybe just a protein shake.
Yeah. Which, by the way, was also a thought, was a meal replacement
For
shake for lunch.
Yeah.
But
It's not
I'm
the worst
I don't-
idea.
nervous to try.
Right. Also, my lunch treat is I make myself like a cappuccino.
Yeah.
That's my fun, my lunch fun.
Yeah, unfortunately, the Keurig machine is not very lunch fun.
No.
But no, it's a good. I mean, that's kind of the. I unfortunately work with a young lady who is a competitive power lifter, American record holder, and who takes care of her body very well and informs me of all the reasons I shouldn't be eating bread or deli meat or all the fun stuff in life. And so I could do sandwiches, but I'm self-conscious about doing sandwiches. And so I that's why I was like, well, replacement shake, but that's kind of lame. And then I was like thinking like, you know, those crazy like meal prep people who cook something on Sunday and portion it out. And I'm like, I could do that. I don't know, Dan, what do you do for lunch?
Yeah. I often find that I don't have a ton of time or energy to make lunch. And so for a while we were doing sandwiches, but with much shittier bread. But now Lena can't eat deli meat. So we've shifted off of the sandwiches. And we do salads with the Costco breaded chicken. So you go to Costco, you get the giant bag of breaded chicken,
Very
you throw
good.
it in the toaster oven, and you mix it in with the salad. You can get pre-made salads if you're feeling super lazy. And those are pretty cheap if you get them without meat, and then you just add the meat in separately. Or you get the rotisserie chicken from the whatever, and throw that in there. That also works. That also works for sandwiches.
Doesn't Costco have the? They have the like rotisserie chicken that has been removed from the carcass and put in a vacuum seal bag. I feel like if we had access to that, we would get that, and I would put it on sandwiches.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds like a thing that they have. Oh yeah, so you mean like pre-shredded?
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
It's like it's in the rotisserie chicken section.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, that's awesome. And so I feel like that's the majority of our lunches. And I guess see, the salad thing feels difficult to do at work because that tastes much better when it's freshly mixed and way worse when it's been sitting around. The sandwich thing would work. The other thing we do is we make a crap ton of sushi rice
Mm.
and you make yourself little bowls. So you can, like, one classic we used to do, now we can't do anymore, was make sushi rice and then in a giant bowl mix many cans of tuna, mayonnaise, and sriracha, and you make that into a little slurry. And then you scoop out some sushi rice, you throw that on top, and then on top of that you put your chili crisp or your little seaweed or kimchi or little cucumber bits or whatever you want to add for a little crunchiness. That was a big hit. And then last week we tried, because we missed that, we tried doing like Korean bowl style where we did like a poor imitation of bulgogi by taking like ground beef and simmering it in a pan with the correct spices and sauces. It wasn't that. The vision is there. We have to try a different version, and then you do the same thing. Make your giant tub of rice beginning of the week. Take out the rice, put it in a bowl, microwave it with the meat, and then add some vegetables on top. I think that's pretty much all of the lunches that we typically do. Now I've been going into the office more because you get free lunch. So
Wow.
that
That happens at my workplace sometimes too, is when people find excuses for lunch meetings. I get deli sandwiches, which are good, but not necessarily good for you. Yeah, I think my biggest problem is I don't want to do work in the morning.
And Sean, you would have to pre-make your lunch and bring it with you.
That's the downside. I mean, a salad is kind of a bit of work. A sandwich maybe not so much.
The nice thing about the bowl thing though is you can do it all on Sunday and it's all microwavable in the office.
That's what I'm thinking. I think that's smart. But now I'm also thinking I could just I wish meal replacement shakes weren't so sketchy. That seems like I just want to drink a shake.
Is Soylent still around?
Absolutely. According to Google. Soylent.com.
I tried that at some point. I liked the original powder version of Soylent, but when they started doing the prepackaged slurries,
pumpkin spice Soylent.
It did not agree with me. The when they started putting them in bottles, it didn't work for me.
Didn't work for you.
It wasn't good.
I found that again. I was only there for the. Oh no, they still have the powders. I think, Colby.
Oh, nice.
I only got the bottles.
Yeah, I mean the bottles seemed more convenient.
Sure. But yeah, I had to drink. One of them was not sufficient for me for a meal, but it was tough to get myself to drink more than one at a time. I lost enthusiasm halfway through.
I used to make smoothies with them. I would put fruit in it.
That's a good idea.
Made it more palatable. And I am thinking about this a lot now. Ron's predicament. Yeah, it's hard. Lunch is hard. I also feel like both lunch and breakfast for me on non-weekend days are just token meals. I have to eat to live, right? I have to eat something in the morning to function as a person. I have to eat something at lunchtime to function as a person, just like I have to have coffee both of those times to function as a person. And then like for dinner we like feast.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm really just saving myself for dinner so I can, you know, enter a comatose food state and watch Netflix.
And that's my I'm just like boxed in here by my own self. Because if I don't eat lunch, I die inside, and then by 3-4 p.m.
Yeah,
I
not
am
fun to be around.
I'm cooked. I would
As
not.
the kids say.
Yeah, I'm whack. I don't know what the kids say. It's not good. It's not good. So I got to eat something. Because I can't just drink coffee all day like I normally do. So.
What about like a microwave burrito or something?
Yeah, you know, I did the Factor meals. I tried that. I wasn't really impressed for what you were getting for the price. I think my takeaway is I'm going to do research on shakes. That seems to fit my lifestyle, assuming they're not secretly going to kill me or bankrupt me. Assuming it is a thing, maybe I'll get some and try it. Otherwise, I think, Dan, you're sort of swinging me in the right direction of making something ahead of time for the week, portioning it out, you know, rice, those sorts of things, and just investing the time in advance so I don't have to worry about it throughout the week.
That's what I do. It's definitely made easier with a rice cooker. Because then it's rice, water, wait 30 minutes, and then that part's done. And then while that's happening, you can do the meat part. And then you can... Here's another thing for the bowls in particular. You might be able to find an Asian grocery store near you. And in them, they'll sell like pre-cut, pre-marinated little like vegetable jugs. Kind of like kimchi, but different stuff. And so get some of that stuff, try it out, find what you like, and then you can just go there, buy it, and slop it on. And now it's like 30 minutes for a week's worth of food.
Here, according to this, Shakeology is the all-in-one nutrition shake for gut health. Poop daily with Shakeology. Okay.
Dream.
Okay. There's a lot of suspicious things going on in this Google search, and I don't feel good about it. All right, well, I'm going to report back. I will give it a honest go of something different, because what I'm doing, I'm the biggest sucker in the world for the coworker coming to my door. So, you want to grab lunch? Yes, I do. That's all I want in life, is to go out and have somebody else make lunch for me in exchange for money.
Yeah. No, it's really great. Doing that is nice, but well, that was the thing. Like when COVID happened, I realized how much money I was spending on going out to lunch, literally 5 days a week.
Yep.
It was. I didn't I didn't count. I don't want to know the number. But it was just like, you know, you stop doing it. It's like, why do I have all this money in my bank?
Especially these, you know, with the prices these days, everything's so expensive, and they expect you to tip.
Man.
I mean, come on. Although they did announce that a very good local bagel shop, which is like 30 minutes from my house, is opening a second location 1 minute from my office. And so that's extremely good news for their bottom line and very bad news for my waistline. So not encouraging. Shout out to Fancy Bagels.
That's true.
That you had a great opportunity to do a baseline double. What do you call it? Bottom line double meaning there.
Down to my bottom line.
Yeah. So what do you like to eat when you go out? What are your preferred spots?
Well, to be fair, the town where I work has a lot of good restaurants, but they're restaurants. It's not like, like grab a sandwich kind of place. They're like the full plate with the large portions, fries on the side type of places. And I gotta be better about that. That's what really gets me. And if you put food in front of me, I will eat all of it. So I'm trying to be better about salads, trying to be better about smaller portions, side salads, things like that. You know, we do Taco Tuesday as an office. We all go get tacos at the local taco place. It's bad. These people are very unhealthy for me. It's not good. And I know people at the office. Okay, I didn't tell you guys this. We got a new CFO not too long ago. And he's a very nice guy. And I saw him the other day. He goes, Sean, I listen to your podcast. I was like, no, you're respectable. You don't have to do that.
That is not what
How
you
did he even
want.
find your podcast?
First of all, yes, exactly. I mean, I'm sure I linked to it somewhere. But my other thing is, and I swear, I don't think he meant this on purpose. He never said if he liked it. I'm not saying he didn't like it. I'm just saying he never was like, and it was great, or it was fun, or I liked it. He never said. So I hope he's not listening. He probably turned it off by now. But it was whenever anyone says that, it's very terrifying.
Added to your permanent record.
It's like, but buddy, I want you to like think I'm normal. That ship
I
sailed
don't
a
even
long
tell
time
people
ago.
about the podcast anymore.
I didn't either. I don't know how he found out. I don't like wear like the Don't Panic hat at work or anything.
Do you tell people about it, Dan? Like at your new job, did you?
No, I haven't. No.
It is
Sometimes
on my
comes
resume.
up.
Is it?
Oh.
It's on my
It
resume.
used to be on my resume too.
Because it is a great, as someone who has recently hired people, I will say it's great to have something memorable on your resume instead of a bunch of jobs.
Mm-hmm.
And so immediately it's the first question I always get asked. What's with the podcast thing? First question.
Oh, that's an interesting strategy.
Yep. And then I'm like,
I'll
let's
bring
not
it
talk
up
about
at
that.
work. Like, someone will make a joke about every aging white guy needs to have a podcast, and I'll be like, "Yep, I have a podcast." No, but I haven't been so good on the marketing.
No, me either.
You're missing out.
I feel like when we get slack for having a podcast, we were doing a podcast before Serial came out.
That's what I said. People didn't know
That's
what a
true.
podcast was. I used to have to say it was internet radio.
Yeah, exactly.
Come on. I just read this week. I don't know if you saw the news. Microsoft killed Skype.
I saw.
Put it
did
out of
see
its
that.
misery. Like, that's how long we've been doing this. Skype was cutting edge.
Right, that was the good option.
Yeah. We used that for a long time.
Yeah, I was listening to a podcast this week, and they were talking about how, and it's changed. It changed in such a way that I never put my finger on when it changed. But in like 2009, podcasts were done in person. All podcasts that had multiple people on it were recorded in person, like the really good ones. Sure, there were other ones that weren't, but the really good ones were. And that eventually changed way before Zoom and way before Google Meet came about because of audio recording. But even without, like, you needed Skype to have the low latency. Otherwise, the fact that each person was recording excellent audio would mean nothing if the conversation was always a little stilted.
Well, it's one of the things I do brag about the show that I'm very proud of is that for all 11 years, we've done every single episode on video. I don't think any podcast can say that for as long as we did it. We did video from the first episode, and we've done it every single time, including this one. And I think that's kind of special.
That's true. It's true. History.
Did Twit.tv have us beat there, though?
Yeah,
They were probably doing video before
They were
us.
one of the first to do Skype remote, I remember, too, way back in the day. They were pretty cutting edge. No, we weren't the first video podcast. But I think the fact that, we're still, and we were amateurs. We had no budget, and it was extremely
Now we're
annoying
professionals.
to do.
Look at us.
Well, it's so easy. Listen, and this is no disrespect. Matt and his buddies spun up their podcast. I helped them at very little cost or effort, and they had a podcast in about 5 minutes. It was not that easy 11 years ago, but it has come a long way.
Try. Yep. history.
We were a part of it. Believe it. Excellent. Let's see. Anything else on your mind, guys? Dan, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
And you can tell me, hey, listen, if this is off limits, you just tell me, all right? You're not going to hurt my feelings. There's a box behind you that says Stadium on it. What is that?
Yeah, so this is if you are officially a remote worker, which I am, despite the fact that there's a Seattle office an 8-minute drive away that I can go to and get free lunch. And technically everyone in Seattle's remote. So if you're remote at my company, they will send you a box of snacks once a quarter, and you get to kind of pick what's in the box. It's not that much stuff though, or I forget if it's like $50 worth of snacks or something like that. But all the brands are extremely expensive. There's no Cheez-Its in there, so you don't end up with all that many snacks by the end of it. Anyways, that's what Stadium is.
The everything platform for gifting, swag, and recognition. Loved by teams everywhere.
Let's see, what do I have left?
Snacks. They have global
I have the
fulfillment.
potato chips, which I've been saving.
Snack Magic powered by Stadiums, the world's #1 customizable snack box. Oh, Stroop Waffle, let's go.
Whatever the hell this is. Watermelon sour candy, maybe? The world's most expensive potato chips.
Yeah, they look it. Straight from the island of Nantucket.
The world's most expensive tiny beef jerky from New York.
Grass-fed.
So small. And a baklava mixed nut something. Those are the snacks I have remaining.
Those are pretty fancy snacks.
Yeah.
They have a menu of over 2,000 unique treats.
Yeah. Pro tip though, don't so I've been having these issues with USPS. And so we were about to go on vacation to Hawaii, and when I got the thing like, "Oh, it's time for order your box." So I filled it all out and I didn't click submit because I wanted to be here when it was delivered. And then a bunch of stuff went out of stock. So they also have like weird yeah, it's weird. I mean, it's fun. Sure, I'll take the free snacks, absolutely. But the funny part is there are people who really work out of the office full time, like they live, in apartments downtown or whatever. And so I didn't understand how the office had such eclectic snacks in it, and often only one of each thing. And then I got this box. I was like, oh, all these people are just they're ordering, and then they're just dumping all their snacks into the communal pile.
Aw,
So
that's nice.
that explained that.
Look at this. Can I tell you guys something naughty I did?
Yes.
I was snack related. I'm a bad boy. I was on my way to Las Vegas, ready to get my party on the other week on a United flight, and aisle seat, snack cart came by. Woman says, would you like a snack? I said, I'll take the little bag of the snack pretzels. I get that. But the cart's parked right next to me. And so she turns around and walks away to talk to the other lady. I grabbed a second bag of pretzels off the cart. Never caught.
You gotta get your money's worth.
Can't catch me.
A lot of people just ask for 2 and they'll give you 2.
I will say, and I again, be totally honest, she said, which one do you want, and handed me one. When they actually hold out the whole basket in front of you, I will take 2 if I want to. I took 2 Stroop waffles on the previous flight because the lady put the basket in front of me. The only thing is if she hands you one, then you got to kind of play a little fast and loose.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah. Wow. Nice.
And then I almost got greedy because, the way the beverage cart works is you can access it from either side. And so she was distracted, and right below me were like the hard seltzers, and I could have just grabbed one, but I didn't. I have ethics. I'm an ethical man.
Massachusetts man escorted off flight by police for stealing Trulies.
Yes, not even anything good. For stealing a ginger ale. Sir, they're free. Yeah, you know me, living life on the edge.
Mm-hmm. You know what I like from planes? I like those popcorner chips.
Yes.
Sometimes they have those in the store now, which I also like. I like them in the store too.
I once flew Breeze Airways version of first class, which costs as much as a regular ticket on a regular airline, but you get the big seat up front and all the perks, early boarding and the carry-on bag. But they also have big snacks. So they had a bag of peanut M&Ms that was like as big as my head. It was huge, and they had like cinnamon buns and like their snacks were out of control. And they were like, "Take whatever you want, go nuts." Kept coming around, "Take what you want." I was like, first class. That is one thing I will say is if you get a good low fare airline and you pay up for their first class as the same price as the regular guys, you actually might get a better experience. Breeze definitely had a good first class experience.
That's kind of tempting.
They also stranded me in Jacksonville for 24 hours. Other than that, it was great.
Trade us.
They did pay for the hotel room eventually, so a wonderful evening there. No, it wasn't. No, it was actually a really good experience. Guys, we're coming up on the top of the hour here. Time certainly flies. Anything else you'd like to say or do or add or contribute?
No.
I feel like we finished the show last week and I was like, oh man, I needed to tell these guys about this thing that happened in my life that is like technology related or something, and I can't remember what it was. So I'm gonna keep thinking about that. Whatever thing this was that is getting increasingly stale. And maybe we'll talk about it next time.
Well, what you should do is you got to do a scheduled Slack message that comes on at 9 p.m. on Monday.
That's not a bad idea.
I did get my future Colby greeting today from Dan, which reminded me to ask if we were doing the show.
Maybe I should just schedule one every week. No, it's perfect. Well, this has been great. I will, of course, don'tpanic.io is our website. You should go there, check it out, the audio, the video, 11 years worth of videos on the YouTube page. So definitely subscribe. And, of course, wherever you get podcasts, check out the audio version. Of course, you can email us, don'tpanicshow@gmail.com. I will also add, over on Up for Debate, we're about to kick off March Madness. I literally have no idea what's coming. Matt has told me he is planning something. But in a terrifying twist, I have no idea what it is. So you're going to want to subscribe, see what's coming up there, upfordebate.tv, and check that out. It's a good time.
It's not going to be text adventure games this year?
You know, so he's told me it's not, but he's also done that in past years. And I'm also pretty sure they're not that many. We've played everyone that exists. I mean, last year we specifically played visual-based adventure games in a Dream Daddy and Hatful Boyfriend. So, I have no idea. But he made it sound like he did some work. But that all could be kind of a distraction. Yeah. With Matt, you just never know. So, I'm going to be, whatever it is, put it this way, whatever it is, I'm going to be very frustrated and annoyed. Because I have no patience for his shenanigans. So,
that is what you tune in for.
I listen, yeah, the eye rolling will be a sight to behold. So you want to watch the video on that. Excellent. Well, great catching up with you both. And everyone out there in listener land, we appreciate you being here. On behalf of Colby and Dan, I'm Sean. We're going to see you next time for another great episode of Don't Panic.